Okay, here we are with another camera comparison. This time is the iPhone 14 Pro against the Galaxy S21 Ultra. 4K 60 frames per second from facing camera. Let me start panning around a little bit so you can see how they perform in different angles. So iPhone 14 Pro and the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Let's see here so you can see the sky looks better on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. And let me keep panning around. So once again, 4K 60 frames per second from facing camera, iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra. And let me move forward and let's check the stabilization a little bit. So once again, 4K 60 frames per second from facing camera, and we are going to start this comparison now. Okay, let's now move on to the 4K 30 frames per second. 4K 30 frames per second, iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra. Just remember that the iPhone 14 Pro has the same camera setup as the iPhone 14 Pro Max, so the results will be the same. So iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra and a 4K 30 frames per second. And let me keep panning around again. And so once again, you can see how they perform in different angles. Let's see here. So it looks a little bit better now with the sky on the iPhone 14 Pro. And let me keep panning around. Let's see here the background. So iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra at 4K 30 frames per second. And let me move forward again so you can once again check the stabilization and you let me know what you think. Okay, let's now do the 1080p 60 frames per second. 1080p 60 frames per second. And let me start by panning around. So iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra at 1080p 60 frames per second. And let me keep panning around and check. So it looks here, for instance, the sky more defined on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. And let me keep panning around. Let's see here, also the same. It looks like the dynamic range is better on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Look at the sky here, for instance. And I'm going to move forward so you can check the stabilization. Quickly crossing the road. So Galaxy S21 Ultra against the iPhone 14 Pro, this time at 1080p 60 frames per second. And we're going to stop this one now. Okay, let's now do the 1080p 30 frames per second. 1080p 30 frames per second. I'm going to move forward first so you can check the stabilization. iPhone 14 Pro and Galaxy S21 Ultra, this time at 1080p 30 frames per second. I'm going to start panning around here so you can check how they perform in different angles. Let me stretch my arms a little bit more. So Galaxy S21 Ultra against the iPhone 14 Pro at 1080p 30 frames per second.